We've had some reports that there have been preliminary discussions between Deshaun Watson and the Texans about a possible extension. Is it wiser for the Texans to go ahead and lock Watson up as quick as they can, or can they play a slow game the way that Dallas has with Dak Prescott?
There really is no sense of urgency if you're the Texans to get it done now with Deshaun Watson, specifically relative to Dak Prescott. He was not a first-round draft choice. So the Cowboys had no fifth-year option on Dak Prescott. 4 seasons in, it was unrestricted free agency, or you have to use the franchise tag. So the Cowboys tagged him. So Prescott's in line to make more than $31 million in his 5th season in the league if they don't work out a longer-term deal. Well, Deshaun Watson was the 12th pick in the draft. The Texans have that 5th-year option. Watson's only going into season 4, which is on the books for not even $4.5 million. The 5th-year option carries a sizable bump, but that bump will be to $17, $18 million, nowhere close to what Watson will get in the average value of the mega contract. Now, if you're Watson, you want to get it done now, cash on the barrelhead, reduce risk of another major injury. But if you are the Texans, you don't want to just give away the farm. I mean, 25-year-old Laramie Tunsil without an agent pretty grossly out-negotiated O'Brien. Deshaun Watson should ask for $1 billion per season and work down from there. If Patrick Mahomes does not get something done with Kansas City, Mahomes is better and outranks and should out-earn Watson in their extensions if they're signed in the same offseason. So not necessarily a game of chicken, but is there movement in either front, which then influence the posture of negotiating for the others? X factor, if you don't commit to Watson now for 6 years, $220 million, $125 million guaranteed, does that engender any hard feelings? Do you want to diminish the possibility of those? But the Texans control Watson for 2020 at, in football terms, nothing. At 2021 in a heck of a deal. And then you could get to the franchise tag for a couple more years after that. So that is really 4 seasons that the Texans have the upper hand in terms of negotiations, other than that Bill O'Brien does their negotiations. So I don't think Texans fans should be terribly uptight if they don't get something done and Watson plays 2020 for the $4.5 million. It doesn't mean he's going to be the Patriots quarterback in 2021 that, well, O'Brien will be insulted that Watson didn't agree to what he wanted, a la Clowney, and he must be done away with, a la DeAndre Hopkins. He must be traded. Even Bill O'Brien knows if he gets to where he parts ways with Deshaun Watson, O'Brien is done here. Even Cal McNair would know that would need to be the case. So if they get a negotiation done at $35 million per year over 6 years, whatever it is, give or take, great. But if it doesn't get done, the Texans have no reason to sweat. Hence, Texans fans should have no reason to sweat.
How much does Patrick Mahomes' contract influence what Deshaun Watson's deal will be?
Well, if I'm Deshaun Watson's negotiating team, I'm going to argue that, all right, Mahomes won a Super Bowl, but is he any more important to the Chiefs than Watson is to the Texans now, or at least to the Texans' ability to achieve at the elite level going forward? Well, the Texans' counter is, Mahomes has won a Super Bowl. He's been the MVP of the league. You have not. All right, well, if Mahomes comes in at $42 million per year, if you're Deshaun Watson, well, then maybe I'll settle for $38 million per year. But I'm not going to give you a discount, right? This is the killer contract of killer contracts. The thing that was a little perplexing, other than O'Brien was involved, that Tunsil got only a 3-year extension, so that diminishes the ability for the Texans to spread it out over time. They did front load a little of the money, signing bonus money into 2020, but Tunsil, with a shattering contract for tackles, he's going to be a free agent again in line for another mega deal before he is 30. So in terms of the Watson negotiations, does Watson say, you know what, maybe I only want to do a 3 or 4 year extension at $35 million per year, and then before I'm 30, I'm in line for the next record-setting contract or close to it at the position? Or do they negotiate a longer deal? You can spread money out, the guaranteed money, and maybe it's an 8-year, $300 million deal. We do know that price of poker over time, barring a major injury to gum up the works, only goes up. The Chiefs' tack with Mahomes is it's not urgent they get it done this offseason. Hence, why is it urgent the Texans get it done with Watson now?